Hi, everyone. I'm Frank Mallicoat. I'm a news anchor and a reporter for KTVU Fox 2 here in the San Francisco Bay Area. My guest today is the Senior Managing Director for the Bachrach Group. He's based out of San Francisco. That is an executive search, recruiting, and a consulting firm. He's based in the city, and let's say hi to Chris Papa. Chris, welcome.
Hey Frank, how you doing?
Good to have you with us. We're talking jobs. You are a headhunter per se, and if you're looking for a job right now, what's the best thing you can do to put your foot forward under these circumstances?
Yeah, it's very unusual times, right? It's definitely a new world out there. One, you have to get familiar with Zoom. Everyone is doing Zoom interviews these days, so if you're not set up for Zoom with good Wi-Fi, good cell service, all those type of things, like that is the first thing to do. And it's amazing. There's a lot of people that still don't have those, aren't set up like that. So that's number one. Two, people are still hiring. So, I mean, you got to get your resume out there like the normal way through, LinkedIn and through online services and through recruiters and stuff. But then, if you actually want to do the interview, it's not really, everyone's turning to Zoom. So make sure you have a good connection.
Yeah, and I think you also have to have a connection. It's not, you got to think like this person is sitting right across the table from you instead of, I'm on here. Lighting, backdrop, what you wear, all that kind of thing, right? I mean, you got to look straight and sharp.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at my backdrop now, wondering if it's okay. I think that I learned personally myself. I mean, I didn't have the best backdrop a few of my earlier Zooms. I think people are investing in actual backdrops for their Zooms. I had somebody early on interview in their robe from their house, which I would not recommend. That was a little too casual.
Just a minute, I got to get some toast.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the etiquette. No one really knew what the etiquette was at the beginning. Do we wear T-shirts? Do we wear? Apparently it was not robes, or do we wear a suit, and so it's people are trying to learn what that is, and there's really no consensus as of yet. But no robes is definitely a consensus.
And as a headhunter, is this is the norm now? You did this before, right? Or was it a phone call or an email?
Yeah, I mean, before it was recruiting people, it was a phone call or an email. It's actually made recruiting a little more personal because people are used to the Zooms now. Like when I used to make a phone call, now it's more of a like, all right, let's hop on a Zoom. So I get a better connection with my candidates that aren't coming to see me in person.
Right.
So that's helpful. But it's the part that makes it a little bit. There's a mental hurdle to get over for both the companies and the people interviewing about, do I really want to take a job at a place where I've never met the people, quote unquote, in person? I've never sat in their office. So that it's happening. It's happening all the time now. But for the first maybe 2 months, it was like, all right, people weren't sure if is this going to happen? Are we going to actually hire people and have them start jobs without actually meeting them in person? And
right.
It seems to be going that way.
Yeah, and people are buying houses sight unseen now too.
Yeah.
They're realtors are. I actually know a realtor picked up her phone and just walked through. Here's the bathroom. Here's boy, we love it. Sight unseen. So it's become a powerful medium. Let's talk about what if you've got a job? What should you be doing to make sure you're in good stead? Because a lot of us are working from home now. That seems to be here to stay, at least for a while, and maybe down the road. But you got to stay connected too. My news director and I talk occasionally, but I used to see her every day, so I felt that connection, but not so much now.
Well, I mean, if you have a job, and I mean, my team, I have a team that's all over the country, and so we used to meet once a week. And when COVID started, not meet, we used to have a call or video once a week, and then we started having it every day. So it helped us feel really connected in that sense. Now we're down to 3 days a week with meetings, which is great. But if you have a job and you're looking, if you're open to new opportunities, definitely, if a recruiter calls you, pick up the phone. It's good to keep in touch with recruiters because you never know when that perfect opportunity is going to come across your desk. We're used to people not be looking for jobs. That's why they hire us. We find the people who aren't looking, right? We find the kind of soft leads or the off-market people. So don't worry, you don't have to be looking for a job to talk to a recruiter. And also everyone, like different organizations are doing a ton of online webinars and different sort of online conferences. So it's great to just keep up informed of what's happening in the marketplace by just, Googling different organizations. And like, if you go on LinkedIn, I'm sure people are just having tons and tons of different webinars up there. So
How about attitude? Sometimes I'm working at home and I've got 3 producers sending me, hey, can you do this interview and that and this? And it's, I started at 8. That's a 4:00 interview, guys. Give me a break. But that can-do attitude might keep you employed too, especially because everyone's in this crisis right now.
yeah, I mean, it's from my experience. I mean, it can be exhausting. I start my first Zoom every day at 7:30, and I'm cranking throughout the day, and it's exhausting to be on Zoom. And it's like you're on camera, right? You can't like, when you're just on the phone, you can kind of like relax a little bit and like maybe look at your phone and not really pay attention. When you're on Zoom, you got to actually be connected to the person in some way. So it is kind of exhausting. And yeah, I mean, it's just a matter for me. I know personally, it's just making sure that I'm getting my exercise in, sleeping enough. Especially if you're working from home, like get away from the computer.
Absolutely.
Shut it off. It's so hard to do, right? And like get away, lock up your snack drawer.
I've actually skipped lunch a few times. I'll browse a little bit and have a bar or something to drink, and all of a sudden it's 2:30. I go, oh yeah, lunch.
Yeah,
a good idea. You kind of lose track of time a little bit.
But getting dressed up. I mean, I'm wearing a dress shirt right now and dress pants, and like it feels great. Like for a long time, I was wearing gym shorts and a t-shirt every day, and it did not. I didn't feel great about myself. And then when I started like putting on real clothes, I was like, oh my, I'm back. You know what I mean? So I think that's very helpful. That's very helpful.
I wear flip-flops occasionally. I must attest to that, but it is nice to throw on a jacket and a nice shirt. How about social media? How does that play in? If you're recruiting someone, do you delve into that? Do you take a look?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn's a big tool for us, so that's
Right.
social. So make sure that is up to date with, a good headshot. Even if you're not looking for a job, it's just great to have check out some profiles out there that really that look good and like see what's on there. And you can add articles you've written, any podcasts you've been on, any sort of videos that you've been on. You can add all that stuff. Make sure your jobs are lined up and up to date. And then, as recruiters and companies, I mean, if you're out posting like not inappropriate, but not professional pictures on your Instagram or Facebook, like we're going to know. We check that stuff out.
Yeah.
Like employers check that out. And like, they will not hire people that don't have like the image that they want to portray. The company wants to portray.
What kind of jobs are out there right now? Is it, you said people are hiring, right? Despite the pandemic.
They are. I mean, it's a lot. I specialize in real estate jobs, so I work a lot in the affordable housing realm. So they're subsidized by the government, so they get special. The big thing in the real estate in the world is like who's paying rent, who's paying leases, because no one's making the revenue to pay those things. So the subsidized housing, it's money from the government. So that helps with that. I think one of our big accounts was with a big grocery chain. And new roles have developed because of COVID, and one of those is that the grocery shopper. Like a lot of people couldn't get to the grocery store because they're elderly and like they were scared to go because they didn't want to get COVID, and so they've hired tons and tons of shoppers at Whole Foods and Stop and Shop and those type of places. So those are new jobs that we've helped fill. Another one is the COVID tracing roles. So, cities, in order to get back to business, have to find people who are going to be tracing where COVID is. Like, calling up, hey, Joe Schmo, I heard you have COVID. Where were you? Who were you in contact with? And then kind of trace their path.
Right.
And so we got a huge contract with the city of New York, help New York get back to business by placing thousands of people to do these tracing roles. So those are roles that were definitely created by COVID. But we're strong in financial services, technology. I mean, it's really a lot of the jobs that you can work from home, right? Those are the ones that are still going on. So there's kind of like separation between those jobs where you have to be home, where you can be home, and the ones that you can't be home.
Well, let's talk about working from home. Do you think it's here to stay? I mean, let's get a vaccine within the year. Let's get healthy. Let's get back to our world. But seems to me, if you're proficient at home, you can save, on real estate, square footage, and if you're good at home, daycare can solve a lot of problems.
I think it is here to stay for some people. I mean, there is definitely something to be said about being in the office around senior people and like, being motivated that way. I personally love being in the office. Maybe if I had a better home office, I might like being at my home office a little better. But I think, especially in the Bay Area, like, why maybe I can live in Boise, my cost of living's half or less than that, and work a job in San Francisco. So I think that is happening actually right now. But I think there is going to be a need to be in the office. Maybe, people commuting an hour plus each way, maybe twice a week. Maybe, there's not the big headquarters in the city. Maybe they have like little satellite offices, like closer to like, in more like suburban locations, so people don't have to do those big commutes. So there's going to be a change, but I just don't think that people are not going to be in the office anymore. It does make people more productive.
Well, with your real estate hat on, we've talked to some commercial real estate people on our program before. What's the fate of that? Because you've got probably a lot of vacancies in the city. A lot of people that may not renew their leases or may, pare down their square footage because people are working from home. You can expand on that.
I think there's, a lot of more subleasing in the office market. Like maybe, if you can sublease part of your space out there. I think that's a big market right now. As far as retail is concerned, I'm not really sure what's going to happen with that one. That one's tough. That
was in trouble before this, for crying out loud.
Exactly. And I know a lot of the younger people who, are renting in San Francisco and, have played, and their leases are up there, they're back at home with their parents right now, right, in the suburbs. So I think, it's going to come back. People want to live in the city. People love the, amenities of being in the city. But it's definitely, there is a change. There is partially, an exodus to leave. But time will tell. It's not an easy answer. I think that a lot of real estate investment firms are kind of waiting to see what's going to happen out there. They aren't deploying a lot of capital at the moment. I think they have a lot of capital to put out there, but they're not really deploying it because they want to kind of see what's going to happen. My prediction is that it kind of goes back very close to how it was before. People, this is a big shakeup. I think it's going to be a short-term, change, and then it's going to kind of go back to people being in the cities, being back in the offices, being back in, retail. Not much dissimilar to how it was before pre-COVID.
And those that are working should feel blessed, because with 40 million out of work, if you're pulling in a paycheck and still afloat, there's a lot to be said for that, especially after what we've gone through.
Yeah, no, I talked to a lot of people who are, I present them with an opportunity, and they're like, "Well, what else you got out there?" I'm like, "Nothing." Like, we got a job. I was like, well, what should I be looking for? I'm like, you should be thankful you got a job right now. It's a blip. It's not going to last forever. But the companies that are hiring right now are the ones that are going to be very well positioned in the future because they have the capital, and they're putting it out right now. So if there is a company that you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I should move right now because of COVID. Like, if another company's looking to hire you, that means they're in a pretty good position.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of that.
All right, Chris, anything else you'd like to add about our crazy little world now?
Yeah, it's shaking things up a little bit. I think that it's giving people a lot of different perspective on life, but I think ultimately it's not going to be too big of a shakeup in the long term. I think we're going to be back to normal and humming pretty soon.
All right, and if folks would like to get in touch with you or with your company, how do they do that?
My email is find me on LinkedIn. That's a big one, Chris Papa, and check out our website, the Bachrach Group.
All right. He is the Senior Managing Director for the Bachrach Group. He's based out of here in San Francisco. He's Chris Papa. Chris, thanks for sharing your thoughts.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it.
Yeah, really appreciate it. I'm Frank Mallicoat. If you'd like more information, go to coronavirusnow.com. Have a great day, everybody.